So I got to give you guys an unfortunate update on what's happening with COVID-19. According to Raw Story, LA ambulances have stopped transporting some patients due to COVID strain. This is a nightmare scenario. Los Angeles ambulance workers have been told to stop transporting some patients with extremely low survival chances to hospital and to limit oxygen use as record COVID cases overwhelm medical resources. California has emerged as the latest epicenter of the U.S. coronavirus pandemic, with nearly 4,000 deaths in the last 2 weeks alone, and hospitals bracing for another surge expected from the holiday period. In Los Angeles, where packed hospitals have been turning away ambulances, medics were Monday instructed not to transport adult cardiac arrest patients if they cannot be resuscitated in the field. Jesus Christ. And they're saying you can't use oxygen unless you really, 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 really need it, and it's last resort. Guys, how long have we been in this pandemic for? How long have we been in this pandemic for? It's been a long time. It's been a very long time. You're telling me we didn't get to a place where we upped our resources, where we upped our capacity to respond, where we could handle any level of a surge? And the answer is obvious. The answer is, of course, no, we didn't. We didn't prepare properly. We didn't prepare properly at all. The federal government didn't prepare properly. The state governments didn't prepare properly. They just didn't. And here we are, nearly a year into the pandemic, and you have a situation where LA hospitals are at capacity. And just so you know, when you get to a place like we are right now, that is the thing that leads to even more deaths. Because if you keep the hospitals underburdened, like you don't surpass the point of no return where they're overburdened, then you can treat the patients a lot better. And so then the survival chances go up. So now deaths are going to go up because they're overburdened. So, listen, I blame everybody. I blame the federal government. I blame the state government. I blame the localities as well, although they're a little less blame to go there because they don't have as much power. But, I mean, this is just insane to me. I mean, they're partying in Wuhan, China now. They're having concerts and festivals because they defeated the coronavirus. You know, for a while there, New Zealand and Australia just defeated it. I get it. It's a different scenario. You know, they're islands that are sort of packed away and they can control it better. I get all that stuff. But do we really have an excuse to be where we are here, where it's over 350,000 deaths now? We're probably going to pass 500,000 relatively quickly. Is there any excuse to be in that situation? No, there's not. No, there's not. So they didn't prepare. And then even at this late date, you're still having hospital surges that are deadly, overburdening the systems. I mean, it's totally unacceptable. And then, of course, the biggest problem is that we have the scientific ability to create the vaccine in record time, but we don't have the political ability to distribute it properly. And that's true. We don't have the ability to do that. We covered the numbers on this show, but it's infuriating. They've only gotten out like 10 or 20% of the vaccines that they have. So they have all these vaccines sitting around, and they need to be stored at like negative 77 degrees. So they got them sitting around. A lot of the vaccines are going bad, and they're slowly vaccinating people, and the plans are a mess. Apparently, Andrew Cuomo is one of the worst examples. He's vaccinating at a lower rate than almost every other state in the country. And he's micromanaging everything and ignoring the advice of the experts. We're in a terrible place right now. We need to have more organization. We need to get these vaccines out the door. I mean, we might be at the point where do all the essential workers, try to get all the older people, but after that, yes, do say, hey, it's open for everybody, because I'd rather have a vaccine go to a young, healthy person than a vaccine go bad. And a lot of the vaccines are going to go bad. So it's unbelievable. At every level, we've failed with this pandemic. We can't do the most basic things right in what's supposed to be the most powerful country in the world and the richest country in the world. This is what happens when you go decades and decades and decades. We have neoliberal rot. We have corruption that's rampant in the government. Nobody's actually attending to the basic needs. And I told you, even CNN admitted one of the reasons why, if not the main reason why, we're doing so bad with vaccine distribution, we don't have a national healthcare system. You don't have a national healthcare system. You don't have high-level coordination because everything's a fractured, splintered breakdown of different networks and groups of hospitals where probably the state governments don't even know a lot of the people who run, own, operate a lot of these different hospitals. I mean, we have a system that's a joke. It's a giant scam. It's a scam on top of a scam within a scam. The health insurance companies are a mafia. Big Pharma is a mafia. Making $19 billion on a COVID vaccine? That's what they're supposed to make next year. I think it's Moderna. One of them is making $10 billion. The other one's making $19 billion. 80%, 60 to 80% profit margin. This whole thing's a joke. It's a joke. It's pathetic. It's a joke. And now people are dying as a result of it. Jesus Christ. I told you guys, I don't know exactly when I had the realization, but the fact of the matter is, there are no adults. There are children in adult bodies. And if we don't have the leadership and the processes in place in order to substantively address giant problems like a pandemic, this is the result. We're seeing it now.